Hello and welcome to Bethel School District number 403 versus Fraser. Free speech in public schools. Our essential question: can school administrators prohibit and punish vulgar and offensive speech? The case. Matthew N. Fraser, a student at Bethel High School in Pierce County, Washington, prepared a speech nominating classmate Jeff Coleman for vice president of the Associated Student Body. Fraser discussed his speech with two teachers who suggested he should not deliver it and there might be consequences. Nevertheless, he delivered the speech to assembled students on April 26, 1983. The next morning, Fraser was called to the office of the assistant principal, where he was told that his speech violated the school's disciplinary rule regarding obscene expression. The rule states, "Conduct which materially and substantially interferes with the educational process is prohibited, including the use of obscene, profane language or gestures." Fraser admitted he deliberately used sexual innuendo in the speech and was suspended for 3 days, and also prohibited from speaking at the upcoming graduation ceremony. Fraser sought a review through the district's grievance policy, where the district examiner affirmed the school's actions. Fraser, with his father as guardian, filed suit before the United States District Court for the Western District of Washington. The court decided that the school had violated Fraser's right to freedom of speech under the First Amendment to the Constitution, that the school's rule was too vague, and that removing Fraser from the speakers list for graduation was a violation of the Due Process Clause. Fraser was awarded damages and allowed to speak. The school appealed the decision, but the Ninth Circuit Court of Appeals agreed with the district court. They ruled that such speech fell into the same category as the protest armbands worn by students in the landmark Tinker v. Des Moines Independent Community School District case of 1969. They argued the school had failed to demonstrate how this speech had disrupted the educational process. The case came before the Supreme Court, which asked the question whether the First Amendment prevents a school district from disciplining a high school student for giving a lewd speech at a school assembly. The U.S. Supreme Court overturned the decision of the appeals court. They determined that the school district had acted within its rights and that school officials have the authority to decide which expression is offensive and to take punitive action against students accused of such. Their ruling emphasized that public schools have a duty to teach fundamental values necessary to the maintenance of a democratic political system. The Supreme Court decision in the Bethel case set a broad precedent for school districts to limit expression they deem profane, lewd, offensive, or obscene. Rather than following the legal definition of obscene as used by the courts, schools are left to decide what constitutes obscenity. Schools are thus in the difficult position of making moral determinations on student expression, while simultaneously trying to teach students about participating in the public world of politics. The Bethel decision has been applied broadly in many situations, including prohibiting students from wearing certain clothing, including political slogans and things like the Confederate flag, which schools have decided are offensive. What does this mean for us in the classroom? Public schools are tasked with training people to be good citizens. Students must have knowledge of their rights and the function and value of free speech in an open democratic society. Administrators must balance these concerns with the various moral standards and demands of their communities, who often feel that students' speech is crossing certain boundaries. It's recommended that school districts adopt clear written policies about what speech is acceptable and what isn't. Rather than leaning towards censorship, administrators should always consider the fundamental importance of free speech in an open, democratic society. Thank you very much.